behind me.
Okay, so we just got to make sure Chris can get good pictures. And we really don't need to go through this box.
No.
And we're going to look in that at the brood.
Okay.
Okay, and let's look at it before we take
Go
everything
into that.
out.
Okay.
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 And see that it's hatching out, and we don't have any new brood.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, we're going to take this one? Are we going to take this one off today?
No.
Okay.
Let me talk about the front entrance a little bit as we start. Okay, today we're going to go through here. If you remember from last week, we have about 2 to 4 frames of brood in this box right here. And so we want to check it right away to see what we got. We're going to pull this, Jim's going to pull this box off right here. He's going to start. We got this front entrance. Not near as much pollen coming in today as we had last Friday, though there's quite a bit. If I look at this front entrance, you don't see like every 20th bee coming in with pollen. We got good bee flight. This hive lost 24 pounds. Remember, we removed a super, so we're good there. The other hive over here gained 6 pounds. So looking at that number, I would say we probably have a bunch of bees have shifted to bringing in some honey. Okay, Jim's gonna pull this out. What we're hoping for is the brood is hatched out. Okay, so the brood was all in the center frame. So he's just making a little hole for himself here. And hopefully, we're going to see them gone. That didn't have brood on it.
No. Okay.
My thinking is, Jim, we forgot that we moved the brood to the top.
We did move the brood to the top. This was just a buffer box.
Yeah, that's just a buffer box. And you can see right here, folks, our brood is hatching out really nice, and we do not have the queen coming back to lay. That's what we want. So we're good to go here. And she didn't come up into that buffer box we put there. So we're in pretty good shape. Next week we'll take away both of these, hopefully.
Still a lot of brood here.
But the center is hatched. So look at here, we got brood hatching here. We got brood hatching right in here. I saw a head moving right there.
Yep.
So we got them coming out. So by next week, look at the baby bee there, just hatched. And so we should have this box empty of brood. And we'll be able to take the honey away. And last week, if you remember, we put the queen down. So we're in good shape there. So Jim is going to remove that super, and then we're going to remove the number 2 box. And then Chris pointed out something. Every day we work this, I kind of sit over here, and every day we work it, I have a cloud of bees behind me. And the reason is I'm the buffer. They're trying to get into the front entrance. If you watch, they're flying right here. And I'm sitting in their flight path, so they can't make it in. That's not a good thing to do, because sometimes it'll stir your hives up.
This is all honey.
I'll bet.
This is all honey.
Now, this hive, if you guys will remember, we were telling you that it's looking pretty good to be ready for winter. And we're going to get a good check here to just see what the brood is doing and stuff. This is kind of just a quick maintenance check. We're not looking for a whole lot. We want to make sure our queen is still laying.
That's all pollen.
Because she spent so much time upstairs the couple weeks before, I'm guessing we have her having to restart down here.
This is all pollen also.
Now we're due some serious rain, and already Jim is having some pollen drop out when he holds it over here. There you got brood. Got brood and eggs in there.
Yep, brood and eggs.
Okay, that's what we want.
Brood and eggs.
Remember, she was upstairs, so this whole bottom box was practically empty last week.
This is all young larvae.
So we're gonna look at this next frame, which is frame number 5. Probably got a little bit of, yep, there it is. Fresh, this is probably very young cap brood, okay? And what's on the other side? You got eggs?
Eggs and larvae. So she's
So
come back
she's
down.
She's come down and she's laying where she's supposed to, and we're happy campers.
Jim and Jerry are both forgetting that last week they did a major redistribution of frames in both the honey supers and the brood boxes. They made sure that there was plenty of space in the bottom brood box for the queen to lay. They are observing and commenting on their own work as opposed to that of the bees. It's what we call beekeeping.
Remember, next week we should see brood on all these frames. Yeah. So she's doing her job. That's what we wanted to see. If you guys are interested, this is pretty much, I mean, we don't need to look at the rest, because what we're looking for is to make sure she's downstairs laying. We don't have her need to go through the second box. We checked it last week. It's full of honey. So we're just going to tighten this up. And thing for you to be aware, if you're thinking of treating your hives or anything, Formic is a good one to treat with right now. The weather's down, and so things will be pretty good. And if you look at using Apivar, remember that's a 42-day treatment. But the thing you should be doing is starting to test your hives. Even if you still have supers on, test to see what your mite counts are. I had one person come in Saturday and tell me they had a 20 or a 3 mite count on a package. So that's in the treatable zone. So you might well want to be thinking about that. So we're going to button this back up. Next week we'll remove both of these supers. We'll also remove the supers on the other one. And then we'll do a mite test on this. And now that we got the queen downstairs laying, that we need to get her down there laying so we'd have something to test off of. You want to have a lot of larvae and eggs to do a mite check. And everything we had was capped last week.
Always want to check when you do your mite check, you always want to make sure that you take the bees from open brood.
Yep.
Not capped brood.
So this next week, you should be really seriously thinking about doing it. If you go on to the YouTube channel, there's a couple segments there on testing and how to do it and everything. Go grab one of those and look at it for a refresher. And we're going to wrap this up. And you can see the bees today got a little bit more angrier as we worked the hive. They were buzzing around our heads. Chris had to go put his veil on. They weren't liking us for a little bit, but that happens sometimes when you're working them. I think right now bees are a bit on the very defensive side, so be careful. If you used to working without a veil, you might want to work them now with a veil. You can see here, look at the amount of guard bees on that front entrance. I mean, there are a lot of guard bees there, but there's also a lot of bees with pollen.
Look at all the pollen we dropped.
Yeah.